the relationship the United States has with the rest of the world. It's a relationship that I find very weird and somewhat disturbing.
Today, we have done what we had to do. If necessary, we shall do it again.
I've told the American people before that this will not be another Vietnam.
From the first days of our revolution, America's security has depended on the clarity of this message. Don't tread on us.
The United States and other nations did nothing to deserve or invite this threat, but we will do everything to defeat it.
When our interests and values are at stake, we have a responsibility to act.
Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield.
Okay, people, okay. Let's back up a minute. Is it just me or is history repeating itself here?
The first wave, 50 Tomahawk cruise missiles like these, fired from U.S. and British ships and submarines. 25 warplanes off the aircraft carriers Carl Vinson and Enterprise launched strikes from the Indian Ocean. And long-range bombers dropping precision-guided weapons, B-52s, B-1s, and these two B-2 stealth bombers. And to drive home the point, this is not an attack against Afghanistan or its people. Today's strikes ended with an airdrop of food, 35,000 packets, to starving Afghan refugees.
Come on, people. Like, really?
If there is a country that has committed unspeakable atrocities in the world, it is the United States of America. They don't care. They don't care for human beings. Who are they now to pretend that they are the policemen of the world?
It seems like to me the United States has a different set of rules, and then there's the rules for the rest of us. It's like, okay, here are the rules for the emperor, and here are the rules for the rest of the peasants.
We have spent more than $2 billion on the greatest scientific gamble in history, and we have won. With this bomb, we have now added a new and revolutionary increase in destruction.
And we will be sure to help our Saudi friends to get a good deal from our great American defense companies, the greatest anywhere in the world.
The United Nations does not have the financial capacity or the know-how to keep the US in check, because most of the funding comes from the United States. So how can you bite the hand that feeds you?
Lindsay and I today are joining and filing legislation that would end all U.S. taxpayer funding for the UN unless and until they reverse this resolution. It's very simple. The only way to get their attention, we can give speeches, we can pass resolutions, and the UN is going to ignore what we have to say. But if you cut off their money, that gets their attention.
The United States is the only country in the world with military bases on 70% of the world. 70%!
Really, we can get pretty much in most parts of East Africa in about 24 hours. And I can bring up to 125 soldiers, give or take. It really depends on what the embassy needs. We're not doing this on our own. Even in Juba, we were working directly with the government of South Sudan's military, the diplomatic security forces, and the guys that are contracted to the U.S. Embassy in particular.
U.S. President Barack Obama, meanwhile, has admitted for the first time that drones are regularly striking Taliban and al-Qaeda targets in Pakistan's tribal areas. The unmanned aircraft have been blamed for killing civilians as well as Taliban fighters.
Remember that the terrorists we are after target civilians, and the death toll from their acts of terrorism against Muslims dwarfs any estimate of civilian casualties from drone strike.
It must be clear to everyone that the United States cannot and will not sit idly by and await foreign conquest. The only question is, when is the best time to meet the threat, and how is the best time to meet it?
When you go into a country, impose your will on its people. There will come a time when those people have nothing to lose, and they will fight you with every single thing they've got whereby any type of weaponry you can invent becomes obsolete.